Good morning, and it is Thursday. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm here in Volusia County, and I cannot be more excited to welcome in the man, Sheriff Chitwood. Sir, pleasure.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Have you in this truck, and a lot of people may not know, but it is National Police Week, where law enforcement officers across our entire nation converge on Washington, D.C., and just truly, it's almost a mixed bag because it's heavy, but at the same time, there's a positive vibe that goes around with it because everyone's around their brothers and sisters. And I thought, what better than to have you, one of the keynote speakers for the Cops Foundation, and a loud advocate for law enforcement officers here in Central Florida, to kind of talk to us a little bit about Police Week and your experience with it a little bit.
Yeah, just like it's our Memorial Day.
Right.
Really what it is. It's our Memorial Day, it's our Veterans Day, all rolled into one. Here we're at Loman's off of Bellevue in Daytona Beach, and I think we read 32 names and canine officers who gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Wow.
And what's important to look at is, it's not the color of your uniform or the shape of your badge. It's about the individual that made that ultimate sacrifice. And as you know, it takes a special breed of individual to be a law enforcement officer. And when we're all together like that and they're reading the names off, thinking of Sam Etheridge, who was killed on Christmas Day, 1980. Imagine that.
Right.
You leave your home on Christmas morning and you tell your little girls, Daddy will be back and we'll open up our Christmas gifts, and Daddy never comes home. So
it's heavy.
It is, and I know the family very, very well. And I know his widow, and I know his children, and his children's children. So what it is you stand there and you realize there's something inside all of us that go to this calling called law enforcement.
Yeah.
There is a thing about honor. There is a thing about integrity. There is a thing about leaving it better than you found it. It's about helping other people. So it doesn't matter what color skin you are, what religion you are, what uniform you wear. I think we all have that same common bond when you look at people who do this for a professional career.
I found that interesting when I first joined the Highway Patrol and I was assigned down in Osceola County. I made it a habit. I didn't care what patrol car, if it had red and blues and I saw it pulled over, I would stop. And it was almost shocking sometimes to some municipalities. And I was so surprised by that because at the end of the day, our mission in law enforcement may be different, but the purpose is the same.
No, I do the same thing as a sheriff. Not only in Volusia County, no matter where I go. If I'm headed down to South Florida and there's whether it's a trooper or it's a sheriff's office or FWC's got a car pulled over, I'm throwing the lights on.
Right.
And I'm just, hey man, are you okay? I got your back. Because, as you know, domestics and car stops
You just never know.
are the two most places where cops get killed.
So have you attended a police week in your time?
I have been to Washington several times. Once as part of the bike folks that bike into Washington, D.C., and a few other times I've been there. Sadly, I have had people put on that wall, on the national wall, and it's my responsibility to be there. We do have a great resource here in Florida. Down in Titusville is just outside of Cape Canaveral is the National Police Hall of Fame. That tomorrow night is their annual event where they honor law enforcement from around the country at this ceremony. They do a tremendous job down there, and if you're anything about law enforcement, you have to make that stop. The place is beautiful. Everything that they have in there on display in that museum is really a tribute to the men and women who protect and serve this country.
So during your time in policing, you've been policing now for
37 years here.
37 years. Have you seen this police week change? Because it's not always been around now. Well, it has been. JFK put it in place when he was president, but the growth of it and almost community involvement too, because you see the social media posts now. You see people putting yard signs in their yard that simply are just supporting law enforcement.
Sure.
Is it growing?
Yeah, absolutely. The back to blue, the flags that are flying. Social media has played a huge role in that. One of the things I do on my social media pages is whenever an officer is killed in the line of duty anywhere in America, we post that. We post the story.
I noticed that you do that.
Because I think it's important for people to know. People might not realize what's going on in Colorado or in Alaska or in Texas.
But they need to know.
You need to know because, the bad always publicized gets put out there, okay? And we deserve it. When we screw up, we deserve that. But what about the other 99.9% of us who took this it's our profession, it's our calling in life,
right?
And to see what's left behind and the damage that's left behind by out there trying to take bad people off the street, it's a story that has to be told and has to be respected.
where do you see yourself in the next, say, like a couple of years in law enforcement? You've been doing this for a while, and you are I don't want to sound like the rookie sitting in the driver's seat over here, but like, I've been doing this for a while, I think 15 years, and to watch you, and a lot of people respect what you do in this community. You're going to be sticking with us for a while?
I hope the good Lord gets me reelected.
Amen.
Because I don't see myself stopping. Plus, I'm not used to sitting in the passenger seat in life.
I noticed that. So, no joke. This entire time, I'm watching you go like back and forth.
I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, is this like a precursor to retirement? My kids will be driving me around.
Listen,
this isn't going to work.
The reputation I have, I do not want it. Trooper Steve takes down Sheriff Mike Chitwood. Not going to happen.
I always tell people, because they're like, oh my God, you're 60 years old, you've been doing this for 37 years. And I say, as long as I'm healthy, happy, and effective, why stop?
Right.
And as long as those three things that three criteria are going strong, we're going to keep going. And I have no intention of stopping. I hope I spend the rest of my career, my life here in Volusia County. That's going to be up to the voters in November.
Right. Well, I think based off of my response, the community response that I got this morning when I talked about having Sheriff Chitwood in the truck with me today, I think visually and on the social networks, things are going pretty good.
I will tell your viewers, if I can get this in.
Absolutely.
This thing is amazing. I mean, you gave me the
He's talking about results one right now.
Yeah. Well, results one, of course.
Yeah.
But the vehicle is just the technology in it. It's just amazing to think,
we could do this.
There is no more stand outside with the cameraman holding the camera on your shoulder, sticking a microphone in your face. This thing is just beautiful.
It's crazy. It's insane. So you guys just hosted a memorial service here.
Yes.
In Volusia County. And now, is that done every year?
Every year it's done, and every year it gets bigger and bigger. And that's what, as you brought that up, I thought to myself when I was standing there and they were reading off the list of dignitaries there, I'm thinking, man, 18 years ago was my first memorial service here. And it was very nice. It was very well done. There was a handful of people there. Now when you look, there were state representatives, there were state senators, there were representatives from Senator Rubio's office there were mayors from other cities there. There were people from the public that just came out that saw it was advertised.
When I was pulling in, I saw some people just casually walking out, grabbing their stuff and walking across the street to the community right over here because they wanted to come out and show support. Now, law enforcement, obviously, we have our ups and downs when it comes to the climate of our world. But at the end of the day, I preach a lot, and I get slack from it, but we would not have the lifestyle in the world we have here if it wasn't for our law enforcement officers.
Think of it this way. If you own a business, you want to own a business and operate a business where it's safe. If you buy a house, you want to do it where it's safe. Your schools, you want everything to be safe. Well, the linchpin to all that is good quality law enforcement. You have good quality law enforcement, you have a good community.
How do you maintain good quality law enforcement? Because since the start of you becoming sheriff, the Volusia Sheriff's Office has gone through a lot of changes. You have your own academy,
which has been huge.
Huge, which, hey, I'll go on record, big supporter of that. And the idea that you get to vet your people individually is unheard of. Because usually you're having a community college do that for you, and then you've got to do some extra. How are things going for you guys right now?
We are fully staffed, for what that's worth. Now,
all right.
Now, of course, we just had a guy resign under investigation, so now you're not fully staffed anymore. But those things happen. But the beauty of it is, from day one, when you walk through those doors for the next 39 weeks, we have eyes on. You're being trained by the best and the brightest that I have. We are watching everything you're doing, and to the best of our ability, we believe we're producing a quality individuals coming out on the other end.
So let me explain this to some of our viewers, though, because to me, it sounds very similar to what the Florida Highway Patrol does.
We copied off these.
Okay, so and for the viewer watching that may be like, well, what's the big difference? You are basically taking criminal justice training standards that are issued by the state, meeting that requirement, and then adding to it so that they're growing up in your environment while qualifying under the state standards.
Exactly. You said it perfectly. And that's what FHP does. That's what the city of Miami does. That's what Miami-Dade does. They're the other academies that we looked at.
Okay.
We want you trained in our policies and our procedures and our culture. That is what is so important. You have to understand that our culture, and on our screensavers, it's got it up there, the sanctity of human life comes first. Every decision that you make has to focus on what this critical decision-making model that we teach everybody. No matter what you do, whether you're writing a parking ticket or you're dealing with a barricaded person, it has to be the same way you deal with folks.
Have you seen a difference in the recruiting since you've had your own academy here?
Yeah, absolutely. In particular, since we have hooked up with the military and their bridge program,
Okay.
for folks that are getting ready to transition out of the military, we've picked up probably 18 of those individuals from around the country. Now you think you're getting people that were trained by the best and the brightest in the military world in our government, in our country, and now they want to come to work for your organization.
Why not?
It can only make you better.
Right.
And the same thing with new hires. You're getting, we're hiring young kids from Deltona. They just got out of college or they just got their associate's degree, and they're coming home to work in their home community, and they're eager to learn.
And isn't that the goal of policing?
That's the goal.
Because people talk, oh, well, policing needs to be representative of the community. And if you've got your community actually applying, win-win.
And that's, we look at that. The last class we had, I think class number 6 graduates next week. I think it was class number 5. 18 of the 22 graduates were Volusia County residents.
Wow.
A couple from Orlando.
Right.
Hey, we'll take it.
Yeah,
But
why not?
18 locals coming to work for the sheriff's office. That's a good thing. They know this community. They're born and raised here, and they're going to give back to that community. That's our selling point. It's really a chance for you to give back to your community.
So as the sheriff of the office, if you could find one thing that you would want to improve on, what would it be?
I would say I want us to improve on the way we deliver our services.
Okay.
I think we could always do a better job of delivering our services. And what do I mean by that? Delivery of services is making sure that if you're a victim of a crime, that at least we communicate to you what we are doing and what we cannot do and why we cannot do it. If
I like that.
Case goes cold, you can't call every day, but let the individuals know why that is. Because sometimes you get caught up in you get caught up in an investigation, it's going nowhere, and you're off to the next investigation. It's the same way with anything. When you go to a disturbance, just take that 2 extra seconds or that extra 2 minutes to explain your position. Same thing when a car stop. After everything is safe and secure, take the time to explain. It goes a long way, and I get emails back, pro and con on that. I get people emails saying, "My God, I was wrong. The deputy did an outstanding job. I didn't appreciate the ticket,
Right.
but he took the time to explain to me what I did."
Something you say a lot. Be human.
Be human.
That's it.
We're all human.
We're all human.
When a police car gets behind me, when I'm in my midlife crisis Camaro with the top down, and, I'm the sheriff.
Right.
I get that pucker factor too.
Absolutely. No, I get it. Even in this thing, I would hope my brothers and sisters would, but I take it nice and easy, and I understand that, hey, look, there's a job that needs to be done, but I have yet to have a bad encounter locally, and I think that is representative to what we are currently hiring. I think there was a time when we were struggling to reach those numbers and find the candidates that were what we wanted at the time. But I do think locally we're doing a pretty good job at finding them right now.
Thank God we're not there. We are being extremely, extremely selective, and I've never had that luxury. Now we do.
Well, you say you're fully staffed.
We're fully staffed.
And now you get to pick, not so much, maybe next time, no, this is the ones we want.
Right. I mean, one of the things we look at is I am very reticent to hire a 19-year-old.
Okay.
Because if they make a mistake, they're done.
Their life is...
They're done. They'll never be a police officer again. So I try to push them to go back to school, get your degree, come to work for us on another basis. I have dispatchers. Get in there. Understand what's going on in dispatch, how that works. You do a year or two there. We can watch you. Now you're 21 years old. Now I'm willing to take a gamble. He was at 19, and I have people who've been with the organization since they were 19, and they're absolutely outstanding. My chief deputy's been here since 19.
That's amazing.
But they're more an exception than they are a rule.
Okay. I like that.
So,
quick shout out to your dispatch center. They are amazing people, and what they cover and what they do for Volusia County as a whole. I got to see that firsthand. You have some of the best work in here.
Let me tell you,
I
we
love
are
dispatchers.
one of the few law enforcement agencies in the country that their communication center is nationally accredited. So they just went through their recred. Every 4 years you come back up. They just went through the recred and they passed with flying colors.
Wow.
Which makes us what's called a tri-ARC organization. There's only 15 organizations in the United States
Because you have all three accreditations.
All three accreditations. There are 18,000 police departments. We're one of 15. Our organization is nationally accredited. Our communication center is nationally accredited. And in March, our police academy got nationally accredited. It's meaning we meet or exceed national standards in those areas, and that's
a big achievement to have academy that is rather new.
Right.
In retrospect, it is new.
We joined FHP.
Right.
FHP's is nationally accredited, and so is the city of Miami's in the state of Florida. So
FHP reminds you of that every day.
Do they?
27 weeks, and it's like, yes, I know we are nationally accredited. Thank you.
And you know what? We do the same thing. We
Okay.
have our
Well,
home.
you have to.
Listen, we are. Keep in mind what you're doing here, folks. I make sure my staff knows that, and I make sure the kids coming through the door know that. I could say that I'm 60 or was a kid.
Well, and they're coming out with a different sense of pride. Like, I was trained by these men and women. Now I get to serve with these men and women.
Yep.
That's a big deal. And coming from someone that's experienced that, to be instructed by troopers and then to become a trooper and work alongside of them makes you want to do your job better.
And you'll always be one.
Right.
And that's what we preach to these folks coming through. You will always be a Volusia County deputy. Always. That's ingrained in you now. Once you graduate from here, my prayer is you're here for 25 or 30
Right, but that's
years.
the school that taught you. If you became a PD officer somewhere, at the end of the day, you're a Volusia deputy.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, Sheriff, I appreciate you so much.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you. Guys, give all of Volusia Sheriff's social media a great follow. They're always putting out information, whether it's community stuff or like pertinent information stuff as it's happening. You guys, Andrew does an amazing job and your entire comm team. So appreciate you guys. Sheriff, thank you. It's National Police Week. Thank a law enforcement officer today, every single day. And just be grateful, because without them, things would be a lot different. Sheriff, thank you so much.
Amen. Thank you.